Palmistry reading of the present Chief Minister of Kerala CM Pinarayi Vijayan. 6 points we'll be discussing, mainly prominent padded mount of Jupiter, Mars line, third is Mercury, Sun, hand structure, heart line ends on the mount of Saturn. These things we would be discussing in this particular palmistry video. Let's talk the first point, prominent padded mount of Jupiter. The first point that we discuss out here is the prominent mount of Jupiter. You would notice that the mount of Jupiter is well padded. Whenever we find that the mount of Jupiter is well padded, it indicates the person's understanding of systems. The person knows how systems basically work, and whenever there is a prominent mount of Jupiter, it indicates the understanding of politics, administration, religion. These things basically increase, and some people may have a totally absent or a flat kind of this particular area as a flat area, or a very small area. This area can get squeezed. This area can get very small. So smaller areas and flat areas are generally not considered to be good for people in high position. So people who have a prominent well padded area of the mount of Jupiter means the understanding of administration, religion, politics and honor increases. The second point, and a very important point in his hand, is that he has a supporting line of life. A supporting line of life is also called, it is also called basically the line of fighting spirit. A person is a fighter. The person is a fighter and fighting spirit. So you notice that this is the lifeline, and this is the line that is running parallel to the lifeline. So a line running parallel to the lifeline is indicative of the person. Such a person would not be bogged down, and the person would fight against difficult people, difficult situations, and come out as winners. Now everybody has a lifeline, but not necessarily everybody has a supporting lifeline. And a supporting lifeline, this line is running parallel to the main line throughout their life, almost starting somewhere close to this particular point. And if you mark the age on the lifeline, and this particular age is going to be approximately 25. Now you would also be wondering why I'm making this particular video after elections, when he has already won the elections. See, the purpose out here is to give explanation regarding the palm. We can't say with certainty that will the person actually win the elections, but we can certainly say that does the person have content to win the elections. And a content to win the elections comes from different parts of your hand. If those parts of the hand are good, palmistry says that the chances for success increases. We just can say chances. It is not 100% we can't say with 100% certainty, but automatically the permutation combination says if more positive qualities are there on your palm, the chances for success is going to be automatically there. So don't think that we are talking these things after the elections. These qualities remain throughout their life. And one more thing I need to add out here is that this supporting lifeline also protects this particular person. During the emergency, he was basically tortured and was in jail. So all these things also comes to aid. When a person has a supporting lifeline, the person would fight against the oppressor, and they would basically win ultimately. So it's a beautiful sign. Not many people have this long line of Mars, long line of supporting lifeline, and it's a beautiful sign to have. To effectively communicate with your audience, you need to have a very good mount of Mercury. Now the mount of Mercury is the area under the finger of Mercury. This is the finger of Mercury, and it is called the mount of mercury. So any perpendicular line that we see out here is considered to be a good sign, because what it does is that it kind of sharpens one's skills. It makes a person a very good communicator, and those people can effectively communicate with their audience. So although if you just compare the two areas, just notice this is the area of Jupiter. This is very well padded. In comparison, out here this area is not very well padded. So it's not necessary that every area needs to be well padded. It's just that you need to have positive signs, not negative signs on your on your mounts. The negative signs that anybody can have is that a person may have horizontal these grid-like formation, or the person may have a crisscrossing kind of lines on the mount of mercury. If the person had crisscrossing lines, the person would miscalculate and miscommunicate. But in this case, the person is not miscalculating, and nor does he miscalculate, nor does he miscommunicating. So these things are very, very important in politics, that you should know how to communicate with your target audience. And I think that although this area doesn't appear to be very clear, but still I can say it with certainty, with my experience, that the person has a perpendicular line over the mount of mercury, and that's the reason why the person has always been sharpening his skills. Do not think that the person sharpens their skills at the later age. It's right from an early age, right when you're a child. That's when you start to basically to sharpen your skills. So you have to look the hand in the whole perspective, and not just one particular line. If you have one particular line, don't think that the person is going to be successful, and do not fall for few things that is said, that the person has got a M sign. These all signs are fake signs. Everybody has these kind of signs on your palm. The important lines to actually see is the line of Mars, the perpendicular line on the mount of Mercury, and many other lines. So I would be talking about those in further. One of the most important lines that you can see on his palm is the sun line. Now sun line is the career line, and not everybody may have a sun line, and but many people, they do have, but they have very, very weak kind of sun lines. They may have a broken kind of a sun line, something like this. Even this is quite good. Some people may have even a dim kind of a sun line, something like this. So a dim sun line brings in doubts, and doubts is the worst kind of things that can happen to one's career. So removal of doubts is necessary if the person has got very dim kind of lines. But in this case, what we find out here is that the person has got very clear, very deep sun line. So let me just draw this particular sun line. This is the sun line that we are referring to. Now I'm going to mark the age on this particular hand. This is the line of head, and this is the line of heart. Okay, so the intersection of the headline, this is the headline that we are referring to. This portion is age 35, and this portion, the intersection of the heart line and the line of sun, is age 53. So this portion of the sun line is before the age of 35. I've already mentioned that the intersection out here is age 35. This intersection out here is age 53. So this portion is before the age of 35. So you would notice that the line of sun starts somewhere close to this particular point, and because it's very near to the intersection of the headline and the sun line, so probably the age where the sun line starts is approximately age probably 32. That's the age I would say. And the sun line is kind of originating from the money line, something like this, and forming a V-like formation. So even a V-like formation pointing towards a finger is considered to be a good sign. Now the V can point in this direction also or other directions also. So anything pointing towards a finger, but don't think V is for victory. Just think that V is considered to be a good sign. It is said that a person who has got a V, like energies penetrate from the fingers out here and they enter the palm, and they get accumulated out here. So this point where the V is forming on the palm becomes an important part of one's life. So somewhere close to the age of 32 becomes a very important portion in his life. And because of the depth of the line means that the person knows what they are doing, and the purpose is very clear in their path. Like on their path there are no clouds, and the person can run their car at a great speed. Now one more thing I need to add out here, and this portion of the line after the age of 53 is also deep and clear. So it means the person would remain successful throughout their life. And take a look at one more point, is that the person doesn't have too many lines out here. Some people think that if they have got more lines of sun, it would mean betterment. Just imagine one single line and the person is the CM of the state with every possible thing. And one more thing I need to add out here, some people say that sun line is for government service. Do not think that sun line is for government service. It is just for your career, for government and governance. And understanding of governance comes from the area of the mount of Jupiter. When it is well padded, the understanding of these things increases, and if you have got a better understanding, the chances for success increase in that particular field. So we were talking about the sun line. Sun line is deep and clear. That's beautiful. It is not broken. It is not islanded, it is not very thin, it is not very dim, it is visible in a very clear way. One more thing normally people ignore is the hand structure. Whenever the hand structure is good, by hand structure we mean to say the bone structure in the hand and the padding over the mounts. You will notice that the padding, there are two mounts that do not require much padding. That is, one is Saturn and the mount of Mars. Other mounts, if they are well padded, it's considered to be a good sign. And having less lines over the palm is better than having more lines over it. So generally, if you take a look at it, two mounts are very prominent. The mount of Mars positive, this is the area of Moon, and this is the area of Jupiter. And you would notice that there's a padding somewhere in the middle also, and there's a padding somewhere in the middle. So whenever there's a padding in the middle of two mounts, so both the qualities of both mounts come to this particular person's. So if there's padding between the mount of Mercury and the mount of Sun, so somewhere in the middle out here, so Mercury is for communication and skills, and this is for brilliance. Sun is for brilliance, for creativity, for art and music and all these kind of things. So and risk-taking abilities. So both these qualities come to this particular person when the middle portion of the mount is prominent. And when the middle portion of the this is the Saturn and this is the Sun, so somewhere in the middle, so both these qualities of these Sun and Saturn come into play. Sun I have already described. The Saturn is for wisdom. This is for a person who is very cautious, shy, hardworking. All these things come to play. So one more thing I need to add out is that if the structure of the hand is good, the bone structure and the padding over, it means richness. Now richness doesn't mean that the person is very rich financially. The person may be rich or may not be rich financially, but what it actually means is that they have got lots of content, and a person who has got lots of content, they have that capacity to become rich anytime. But becoming rich is not the only priority. There can be a higher goal, and to look for spirituality, you have to look at the mount of Jupiter, if it is well padded, it means that the person's inclination towards spirituality could also be there. So this is what is represented by a strong structured hand. A strong structured hand with very few good lines can give brilliant result. So having a strong structured hand is always better than a weak structured hand. If a person has got weak structured hand, the chances for their success decreases, because their understanding and their hold over people, money and resources goes down. And a person who has got a strong structured hand, their hold over people, money and resources goes up, and they are better able to manage resources, better able to manage money. So that's what is represented by the hand structure. Another very important area to look for is the heart line. Now the heart line ends on the amount of Saturn. Saturn is for money, possessions and wealth. And if the heart line is ending under the amount of Saturn, it means that these people have a desire to earn money. Now you might say that you might not agree with it, but I would say in a different way as well. See, the thing is that some people earn money for themselves, some people earn money for their target audience, some people are responsible and wise. So the heart line that ends on the amount of Saturn brings the quality of Saturn, and the Saturn qualities are wisdom, responsibility. These people govern the resources in the best possible way. See, resources are always limited, so we have to utilize our resources in the best possible way. And a person who has the heartline end under the amount of Saturn means that they can manage resources, the limited resources that we have, in the most productive way. So most businessmen, don't think that even politicians have this particular sign. Most businessmen, 99% businessmen, they have their heartline end under the amount of Saturn. And it can also be found in the hand of a politician, because politician is also utilizing the resources of the state. So these people may not be idealistic. Do not think that idealism is a better word than being realistic. So this person is realistic. See, the heartline, if it was reaching the amount of Jupiter, it would have meant that the person would be idealistic and sensitive. Now, an idealistic and a sensitive person may not be able to utilize the resources for everybody. Now, you can't, there's no such thing as an ideal situation. An ideal situation is that everybody has a car, everybody has a AC, everybody has all the things in their life, but that's not possible. So you have to manage the resources in the best possible way, and a person who has the heartline ends under the amount of Saturn would bring about better management of resources. And it's a beautiful sign for success for any kind. A person can be a preacher also, even that person can be successful having this particular people in religion also may have this particular sign, that the heartline ends under the amount of Saturn. The other good part about the heartline is that it is very deep, clear, singular. It means the person can handle stress, anxiety, the person can remain focused, the person doesn't have these branches over the heartline. It means that the person is not getting distracted and the person is committed. So people who are committed are the ones who are ultimately successful. Lastly, one more thing I would add out here regarding the headline. Now you'll notice one more thing, that the person doesn't have a very long kind of a headline. Generally, people think that the longer the line, the better it is considered to be. Arvind Kejriwal has a very, very long kind of a headline, so it doesn't make him more intelligent than him. So, and a shorter headline doesn't make a person with lack of intelligence. Intelligence comes from the area of amount of Mercury. Perpendicular lines over the amount of Mercury is for intelligence. Now, a shorter headline doesn't mean that the person doesn't have the mental strength. See, length of the line doesn't have anything to do with the mental strength or the weakness. In fact, a shorter headline can be a better sign than a longer headline. A shorter headline is always good. Imagine these planets out here. There are 4 planets out here, and there are 2 planets out here, 2 planets out here. So the flow, there's automatically flow of energies out here. Flow of energies from the amount of moon towards the area of Jupiter and the other planets, and vice versa. If the headline is short, the flow can be better. If the headline is very long, then the flow of energies get blocked between these two. So that's the reason why a shorter headline is very good. Another very good example of a short headline is Shah Rukh Khan and Ram Jethmalani, a top Indian lawyer who passed away. So short headline is a beautiful sign, provided the quality of the headline is good, and the quality comes from a deep and clear kind of a headline. If a person has got a long headline, it would mean that the person is making strong mental boundaries, and making strong mental boundaries is not necessarily a good sign, and it might block the person somewhere down the line. So shorter headline is always better than the longer headline. So I would end my video out here. Before I end this particular video, I would just repeat few things that I repeated in almost all my videos. Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update. You can get a paid reading from me. You can call me or you can email me. These are the phone number and the email that I mentioned out here. And importance of money line is just 15% in how much money we would be making in our life. We can come to know about money from almost any aspect of our palm. It can be our headline, our heart line, and lifeline, sun line, Mercury, Venus, Mars, or any other line. A saint once said, you don't need to go to an astrologer or a palmist to know about your future, because you already know your future. Present is a result of past. How will be my future? Future depends upon what you are doing in the present. What are we? We are product of our thoughts. So the thoughts that come to our mind are really important. Keep positive thoughts and keep good company. That's what matters the most. Thank you for watching. Bye and take care. Do ask your question down below in the comment. I would be happy to answer you.